Well, welcome to our week one hangout for the CMOOC, and this is particularly in the time zone for our UK participants. So we have Mr. Ian Upton all the way from Coventry University.
Hello, how are you?
And we have Vikal Narayan all the way from Auckland.
Hi.
Yes, and myself, of course, from Auckland as well. So it's kind of late at night for us and still relatively warm. I hear it's been a bit cold in the UK, Ian.
It's well, relatively, it's freezing for us, and it's quite early in the morning. It's just after 8 o'clock in the morning for us here.
Yeah, so I guess the purpose of these weekly hangouts is to try and get some discussion from the community of people who are actually taking the CMOOC. So although there's only the three of us here tonight, hopefully some other people will actually watch it later. So I thought what we could do is just sort of have a brief overview of what we're trying to achieve, particularly this week, and just sort of give people a bit of a heads up. So I'm going to start doing some screen sharing, but while I'm doing that, Ian, tell us whereabouts you're at with your CMOOC portfolio.
Okay, well, I started the last MOOC, but of course with pressures of work and things, I never got to complete. Oh, it's all right, screen's gone funny here, so it's just a bit of a shock. But yeah, so in a way, I'm sort of joining in here, and I'm going to be working along towards my own CMOOC accreditation. I've done an introduction, which I might repost up on the main page for new people to see, and I've been working on my contextual statement, but I'm hoping we're going to be able to talk a little bit about that today to get a bit more understanding of exactly what it needs to show and the form perhaps that it needs to take.
Cool. I know Vikal's been sort of chunking away at his as well, but another work in progress. So just screen sharing, hopefully both of you can see the Google Plus community.
Yes.
So this is kind of the discussion hub, I suppose, for the CMOOC, and you can see we've got 60 people signed up so far, which is great.
Wow.
And if people are watching this and want to be part of the discussion in the community, then search for CMOOC on Google Plus and ask to join. If you haven't done so already, but you're wanting to, that's the place to sort of share stuff and be part of the discussion forum. And down the left-hand side of the CMOOC, you can see we've got a section on About, which links to all of our various social media that we're using to facilitate this. So we have a WordPress hub. There's a little welcome song, and then we got some more info about the CMOOC. We've got a project bank where we're wanting people to share their ideas, particularly their sections of their portfolios that they're happy to share. We're using a social media hashtag, #CMOOC for any of the social media people are using that they want to share with the community. Make sure you use that hashtag. We have a webinar playlist, so you can access that there, which is on YouTube. It's a participant map and a few other tools that we're using there. So I'm just going to jump to the map.
Okay. Tom, before we move on, is it okay if I ask a question? One of the things that I found the last time around was this stuff can be a little bit overwhelming if it's not if you're not sort of used to this kind of arena. And so if I was just starting out and I was seeing all these different sort of facilities and ways of connecting, where's the sort of main area? Would that be the main Google Plus page?
Yeah, there's two main areas. One is the Google Plus page, which is the discussion forum, and the other main area is the WordPress blog. So the WordPress blog has the outline, the weekly activities. It's where we syndicate participants' blogs and a blog roll. But what we do each week, we follow through one of these basic activities, which is exploring part of a CMOOC portfolio each week. So we're looking at Contextual Statement tonight. But we also post the same content into Google Plus, into the Google Plus community. So it's kind of a bit of a double up, but it's just a little bit more clearer in the structure on the WordPress blog, I suppose, whereas on the Google Plus community, the posts kind of fall off the bottom and get a little bit lost.
Yeah. So, if I was new, then hit the WordPress blog to find out where I am and what's going on, and then really just share discussion and comments and things in the Google Plus area, and then everything else will start to make sense after that. Would that be? Right. Yeah, cool. Thanks for that, Tom.
And we've got someone else just joined us, so welcome.
Phil.
Hello.
Hi, Phil.
Phil's just muted his microphone.
Yeah.
But welcome. Great to have you here, Phil.
Hello, Phil.
I think Phil is saying something, but we just can't hear him.
Oh, we've got a video now.
Got video, but no sound. That's okay. But welcome, Phil. Good to see you here. And we're not quite sure why your audio is not working, but that's okay. But great to have you participating. So if you do get your audio working and you want to ask questions, feel free just to button whatever you like. So just going back to this sort of overview. So yeah, good point, Ian. So that's great. So yeah, we are using a whole range of tools. So it is easy for someone who hasn't done that before to get a little bit overwhelmed. So just break it down and make it easier. The Google Plus community is probably the place to start and define the structure of the CMOOC. Have a look at the WordPress site, cmooc.wordpress.com.
Cool.
So yeah, just having a look at the participant map. So we created a collaborative Google map, and I presume that's probably Phil Marston who's joined us on the video chat, because Phil's put himself on the map. And so according to his point here on the map, Phil is at how do you say that? Leicester.
We'll let you struggle, Tom. It's Leicester.
Yeah, Leicester. There we go. Strange spelling in the UK. Yeah. You probably struggle with some of our names.
About just down the road from us in Coventry, so it's very close.
So if we zoom a little bit, particularly into the UK, because it's their time zone tonight, you can see we've actually got quite a few people joined us on the CMOOC from the UK, and there's a few people who've joined who haven't put themselves on the map. We've even got one person here from Ireland. So there's Gavin.
It's Gavin.
So great to see everyone there. And if we zoom back out a bit, you can see we have several people in Australia and quite a few in New Zealand, obviously, and one participant in South Africa.
Brilliant.
So that's kind of us. So looking at week one and what we're trying to achieve with week one. So if I just pull up the Google Plus.
And this is a copy from the WordPress, is it, Tom?
Yeah, yes. If I go back to WordPress, and there's week one there, which is exactly the same content which has been posted into Google Plus. So a fair amount of stuff that we've got there for week one, but it's kind of set up and trying to establish connections between people and get people started. So really trying to get them to, create and activate their blog or their online portfolio, whatever they're going to use. It's up to participants to choose what they want to. We suggest WordPress. So the first step is join the CMOOC Google Plus community, which most people have already. We've got 60 people joined there. Get in the habit of sort of sharing ideas using the social media hashtag CMOOC, and establish their own portfolio somewhere, e-portfolio.
On portfolios, Tom. I'm sorry if I'm appearing to talk over you. I think it's the lag. So apologies for that. It's not very polite. But I was planning to use Adobe Spark for mine. Is there any problems with me using something like that?
No, I think that's a great idea, and it's quite creative. So I quite enjoyed what you started last year. And I thought that was very cool. So yeah, I mean, we suggest WordPress as a good place to start, but certainly there's a whole range of tools that people could use.
Brilliant.
And
what are the tools that people use then? What are the tools?
Some people use Mahara.
Oh, right, yeah.
Some people use PebblePad. Some people use their institutional LMS, but then they've got to obviously give password access for the assessors to that. So I guess we encourage people to try to make their portfolios public, but it's up to the end person, really.
Yeah.
Can I be heard now?
Yes.
Ah, welcome.
Excellent.
Something else that occurred to me in terms of what you could use is a lot of the LMSs are offering a free option these days, where you can sign up and create your own course for free.
Yes.
Right.
So, that might be an option as well.
Yeah, I think it's just whatever people feel comfortable with. I think the key is having it online. Certainly, because if you're looking at something that is talking about learning technology, then you want to really demonstrate that you know how to use learning technologies, rather than just do a Word document.
And a question, Tom, if I may, the prime function of the portfolio is at its most base level is to give me a place where I can evidence the different elements that I have to sort of submit for CMALT. We don't have to sort of engage in lots of blogging and all the connected stuff. Its prime function really is just as a place for these statements. Is that true?
That's up to you. So I guess we encourage people to use their blog as multifunctional. So as a journal diary of their learning, that's wider than just a CMALT portfolio. So for a lot of people, this may be the first time they've engaged with social media. For other people, they've had a lot of experience, and it might be just an opportunity for them to really start curating that into one focal point. And I think a CMALT portfolio is a great way to do that. So I guess what we're focusing with on this CMALT is an overview, a how-to of creating a CMALT portfolio for assessment. But at the end of the day, we're not expecting everyone to be able to do that within 7 weeks. So it's an intro to the process, and in that process, we're also giving people an experience. And for us, that experience is probably the big key in mentoring them into a global network, which is great to have you and Phil all the way over the other side of the world joining us. So going down the list of things for this week, which is a fair list and a little bit daunting, but none of these take too much time. There's a survey, a link there to a little SurveyMonkey survey with 10 questions, just to give us a bit of feedback on participants' prior experience around learning and teaching technologies. Number 5, put yourself on the Google map. So it just gives us some sort of idea of where people are from, and just put enough information there for people to be able to find what university you're from. You don't need to put your home address there so people can't stalk you, and perhaps put a link to whatever portfolio that you want to share there within your point of interest on the map. Number 6, start creating a bit of a biography. So as part of a CMALT portfolio, you need to have a CV. So, some sort of bio that you link. And then number 7 is start working on a contextual statement. And really that's kind of like what motivates you, what drives you to be in education, what were some of the influences, what are the key drivers for you as to why you're an educator and why you're interested and excited about using technology in teaching and learning as well. So that can just be like a 500 word or blog post. It could be a video, and we've popped a couple of very quick, short little examples of videos into the Google Plus community. They're just rough and ready. We just did them on the spot, but it's a starting point, and they could even be embedded into people's portfolios. So
using things like video is this doesn't necessarily have to be a sort of text document for the final submission. I could actually create a short video providing my contextual statement rather than having to write it out. That would be an acceptable kind of submission, would it, Tom?
Yeah, I think you need to have some sort of written reflection with it, but I think it can be in any multimedia format that you can link to online. So as you were sort of asking before, I guess there's 2 key elements of each part of a CMALT portfolio. One is the evidence, showing that you have done what you say you've done, whatever form that may take. It may be, videos of you doing stuff, or, working with other people, etc. Could be links to publications that you published about certain projects. It could be, scanned PDFs, scanned emails, etc. whatever the evidence you have that you want to share. And then the second key part of each item is reflection. It's, what does this mean? How has this experience influenced you as an educator? What have you learned from other people? And what is the impact for learners? So two key parts to any section of the CMOP portfolio. One is evidence and the other is reflection. And then the last thing we've got on the list here is our weekly hangout. So we're actually doing that right now. And what we'd like to do is have one of these once a week, one for the UK and one for sort of New Zealand, Australia, which we're going to be doing tomorrow for us, which would be very late tonight for you guys. So that's the lightning overview. I'll stop my screen sharing now. And let's just go back to any questions, discussions, thoughts.
Excuse me.
I'll take that
just
silence. Obviously, I did a really good job.
You all the way through. Instead of asking questions now.
Yeah. So I guess what I would like, encourage people to do is to invite other people that they think would be interested into this journey. And I guess how we see it really is as a journey. It's the starting process. It's for some people this will be the second time they've done it, and they may even end up going through the CMOOC a third time before they get around to finishing their portfolios, and that's fine.
Right.
So, yeah.
But it's not too. I've got colleagues that may find CMOP beneficial to suggest that they come and join in.
I don't think it's too late. I think like a bit like a community practice, you can have people on the periphery who are more sort of observing, particularly the first time.
Yeah.
A bit like Ian was the first time last year, although Ian did dip in and contribute every now and then.
Yeah, I was just thinking that I could imagine them looking at that list of things to do in the setup and go, "Oh, I haven't got time," and just
yeah. So I guess what we try to suggest people do is form a bit of a community practice locally. 4 or 5 people that support each other doing this and get together once a week and over coffee or whatever, and and just discuss. Okay, what are we looking at this week, and how have you approached it, and maybe we can do something together right now and share that.
Yeah.
So not for it to be like an individual sort of journey. The goal of the CMOOC is really a network of small groups, a network of communities of practice. So forming those as little support groups in a local area, I think, is the key.
Yeah, I guess the onerous part is the gathering of the evidence and actually reporting that evidence back. So having your ResearchGate profile, having your LinkedIn profile, having your WordPress or whatever platform.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of like a work in progress.
If they haven't got those things set up, then
yeah, so it's, you start.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be finished or polished at this point. It's just get started and knock away at it, chip away at it, and just kind of keep that in the foreground of your mind. Is okay over the next 6 months, year. Start pulling all that evidence together as you have time and start building those profiles as evidence. So I guess kind of having a plan. Sorry, Ian.
So I've got a question. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find a way of jumping in here without interrupting. I've put my hand up and things, but I don't know. We'll find a way. We've talked about research profiles. Now, is it essential that people actually have a strong research profile as well as a practical sort of engagement with this to actually achieve a CMOLT? I'm looking for myself because I'm a very practical kind of person. I don't engage in a huge amount of research, for example. So is that something that I need to start developing to get through CMOLT, or is it something that my practical practice would be enough?
No, I don't think you have to have a vast or incredible research profile Everyone's different. That's the point. It's your own personal profile, portfolio. So my evidence will look very different to yours. You know, it just so happens that's the way I work, as I turn everything I do into research, but other people haven't. So their evidence will look very different to mine. But it's the key is that reflection of that experience, of those events, of that evidence, whatever that may be.
My impression is that it's trying to promote an informed approach to practice. So
yeah,
you're coming from an informed position.
Yeah, that's right, and you know, critical evaluation of what you're doing. So obviously, one way to do that is through publications and research, because in that process you're getting critical peer review. That's just one way to do it.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, good questions. Okay, well, Vikal, shall I leave you to have the final word tonight, and then we'll sort of wrap up?
Me?
Yeah.
Me?
I've been working on my portfolio for quite a long time. My challenge has been, because I've been using so many online tools, social media, the biggest challenge is just to collect everything in one place. So I think I spent quite a lot of time last year trying to do it while I was trying to finish my PhD and all that. So I finally managed to put it all together, and I wrote my contextual statement and all that. So I'm more than halfway there. But because I had lots of things here and there, it was just a challenge remembering where they were and just going through, rolling back and collecting things, and things like pictures and videos and papers which we had written.
It just reminds me, I just want to highlight one more thing before we go. So I'm just going to start screen sharing again. Hopefully that's coming through.
Yes.
It is.
Okay, so last thing I wanted to highlight was the project bank. So this is linked from our WordPress site. There's also a link on the left-hand column of the Google Plus community to the project bank. So the project bank is where we're trying to build up examples of various sections of a CMOP portfolio. It's just for people to who are happy to share examples of what they've done. So each week there's a section there. People can go in and submit an example of what they've done, and look at those and go, okay, well, I could do that. That's easy, or that's a really good idea. I could use Adobe Spark like Ian has. So you choose the option that you're about to share, and basically give it a title, give a description, and the key thing is putting a link to it. So it would be a link to a YouTube video, or a link to your blog post, whatever it is that you're sharing. So if you're not quite sure of where to start, this might be a good place to go and have a quick look. So if you want to check out other contextual statements, there's 7 there that have been shared so far. Probably best not to look at mine, because mine tends to be the really scary one with lots of research. And I got 4 stars, but that's because I'm the admin. But have a look at some of the variety of ones that are there, and if you think you'd like to share where you're at and get some feedback, then share it. And the other thing we're trying to encourage is people to actually give feedback via voting on these as well.
Cool. And so this isn't, I'm sorry, I'm asking some really dense questions here, Tom, but so this isn't an upload thing. This is literally just a place where I can sort of, if I've got my Adobe Spark, for example, I've got a link to that. It lives out there on the web. And I can just basically put a little wrapper around it here, which then invites CMOOC colleagues to go and have a look and give me some feedback. Yeah,
so basically what you're putting here is a description and a link.
Brilliant. Okay. That confused me a bit last time, I should be honest, but that's very clear.
Okay, cool. Right, well, I think I've bored you for long enough, so we'll finish off tonight. But thank you, Phil. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Vikal.
Thank you, everyone.
And hopefully we'll get a few more people involved next week.
Can we just...
Oh, yeah. Do you want to stay on the line? I'll just stop the broadcast.
I was just going to say, can we confirm the time for next week? Because I know we've all got daylight hours kicking in as well. So, half the world goes 2 hours the other way for us.
So what's best for you, Ian? 10 o'clock UK time?
Sorry?
How's 10 o'clock UK time for you?
10 o'clock is fine for me. Is that not getting a little late for you guys? But
I'll just make sure Vic calls up.
It's probably harder for me. If I'd remembered this morning, 8 o'clock UK time was fine. Means I can do it before going to work. But I was just about to get in the shower when I saw the message.
Well, I'm glad you dressed. I mean, from my point of view, I can do 8, 9, or 10. It's it's easy. So what is 8 o'clock a better time for everybody then?
8 probably works better for me, and it's probably better for the other side of the planet as well, I suppose.
Yeah, it's definitely better for us, but it's
Well, let's keep it at 8 then. That seems
okay. So maybe you could drag a few people to have coffee with you, have a breakfast somewhere, Ian.
Absolutely, yeah. We could do a good fry up. Sea malt fry up.
What was that cafe in Coventry?
Oh, we've got lots of them. Yeah, actually, it's just over the way, and it's got a good Wi-Fi connection. I'll have to check whether they're open at 8 o'clock, in which case we can drink a really nice cup of coffee.
I can't remember the name of it, but it was pretty good.
Finney's.
Finney's, that's it. Yes, Finney's.
Yeah.
And
if you're
if you're struggling for good coffee, go to Costa and ask for a cortado. Okay, well, let's stop the broadcast, and thanks, guys, for joining us tonight. Catch you next week.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.